Hey there superstars, it is Vanessa here again, your speaker, trainer and coach from Live, Love, Give, and I'm coming to you with a message today all about responsibility. And I know this is not actually a topic that most of us like to have, and I'm going to talk into a couple of reasons as to why I hate this conversation, but I'm talking about it because we're here to reach our highest potential in every arena. And if we don't talk about what I want to talk to you guys about today, we're really selling ourselves short and we don't actually realize what it's actually costing us. So there's a couple of different things I want to talk to you guys about today. It's all under the umbrella of responsibility. Yeah, I know, kill me now. But I want to talk to you about two different modalities of responsibility, and this comes from the work of NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, which is something that I've been deeply immersing myself in, and I'll talk a bit more about that later, but I really want to just get into the juice of it, which is really, are you under-responsible or are you over-responsible? And I want to talk into both sides of the coin with this topic of responsibility, and I want you to identify which side of that coin you may be placing yourself in across the different contexts of your life, across your relationships, across your work that you do, across your finances, across everything, right? So just think about that. But let me dive into and kind of give you a bit of an understanding what both sides of the coin look like so you can identify yourself. And of course, as usual, I'm going to bring in some of my story, lay it out there, use myself as the guinea pig and the example so that hopefully that's of help to you guys. But ultimately, we can be over-responsible in the way that we are always taking responsibility for way too much, right? So we're taking responsibility for the fact that our partner or our friend is not the happiest that they could be. We're really taking that on as our responsibility. I see this side of the coin play out for me much more in my past self than my current self, because I've gained some self-awareness, which I'm hoping you guys will to do that today as well. And with that self-awareness comes the power to make the shifts and create flexibility. But ultimately, where I've shown over responsibility, more so in the past, because I'm going to talk about the other side, which is way more me than this side. But in terms of in my business, having clients, I have in the past tended to get totally over responsible in terms of if my client wasn't getting the results that we both decided they really wanted to get, I tended to really beat up on myself, oh my gosh, and I'd spend so much time outside of our sessions, outside of our time working together, kind of researching what's going on for them, where do I need to train myself, what do I need to dive into. And at the end of the day, what was happening was that I was taking the responsibility from them and actually putting them in a position of, I'm just going to lay here on the couch and just let you do it all because you're going to do it, right? And then so what happens is if you're not putting in, obviously you're not going to get results, right? And so me taking over responsibility for their lack of progress saw me self-defeated and also saw this person with the power taken from them, because as a coach, right? As a coach, you're supposed to not take the power from your client, you're supposed to put it in your client. And one of the greatest ways I've come to know in terms of being a coach and putting the power into that other individual, which is a major reason why people come to you for that self-belief, for that empowerment, right? They're not looking to be more disempowered. They want to show and prove to themselves that they're a capable, extraordinary human being who has a lot to offer and who is capable of extraordinary things, right? So taking that responsibility was actually jeopardizing their potential, by being over responsible. And also it was jeopardizing my relationship with myself, because I was having conditional self-esteem based on whether they were going to get their result or not. And I've come to also take some different layers from this in terms of when you're over responsible for people, what you're really doing is you're reinforcing in an indirect way to them that you don't believe that they're capable at doing this work to themselves. So you don't have to be a coach to get this and to stop being over responsible for the people in your life. You could be somebody's partner, mother, father, best friend, whatever you are, whatever that connection is. And ultimately, you could be well-intentioned about how you really want this person that you care about to succeed, but not realize that you being totally over-responsible is disempowering that person that you care about, and in the long run, jeopardizing their success and reaching their potential, whilst it is attached to your self-esteem and you beating yourself up for that person not getting the results that they want and you want for them, right? So that's the challenge of being over responsible. That's one example. But it's also, being over responsible can really just get in the way in terms of over committing yourself, taking on too much, so you're scattering your energy in so many different directions that you never quite make it. You never quite feel like you're progressing, and you always feel overwhelmed. So all you yes people out there, this one's for you. That over responsibility, and also realizing when it comes to relationship that it is never anybody else's job to make you happy. And it's never your job to make them happy, or whoever that is. It's always our own personal responsibility for our happiness. And the only hope that you may have in relationship with anybody is that you may enhance their happiness, but you're never going to actually make them happy. So get that out of your mind. Stop taking responsibility for that. And now let's get to the other side of the coin, because this one, I know I'm having some rude awakenings in my life constantly about this one. It's about being under responsible. Okay, so this is, the not wanting to grow up. This is the, oh no, that's not, I don't want to think about that. I'm just going to put my head in the sand about that. Oh no, it'll sort itself out. Being under responsible is, kind of handballing the responsibility to those external sources. And a funny thing can tend to happen in a very disempowering way is that we can get caught in this cycle of being over responsible for other people and their happiness, and then expecting that in return, and therefore being under responsible, say, with your own happiness, right? And expecting, well, I'm trying to make you happy, so you should be trying to make me happy. And we can get caught in this covert contract that is just jeopardizing our connections left, right, and center. But most of all, it is sacrificing your potential. Because as much as the word responsibility sounds disgusting to a lot of us, myself included, at the end of the day, if you don't take full responsibility for where you're at, for the results that you're generating, to be at cause in your life rather than be at the effect of everything else, then you are never going to reach your potential. And that is the rude awakening that we all must have. Either the easy way, like on a video like this, or the hard way, where we're repeating the same old problems and patterns and getting kind of like this wake-up call. Big example in my life right now, that, there's always another layer for me. I'm always going, okay, all right, let's think about that, and let's think about that. And these under responsibility and over responsibility, they may be totally out of your conscious awareness. And they generally are, because when we talk about NLP, they're what we call meta programs. Now, meta programs, all you guys who are already in the masterclasses, you totally already have this down pat, because our not last masterclass just been, but the one before that, you guys were rocking it with this introduction to meta programs. And all you guys in the group coaching, I know you've been working tirelessly at really creating flexibility in what we call your driver meta programs, the ones that are really taking over your life and creating your challenges and problems in your life. but super empowering to realize this and then build out the other side and get some flexibility in these filters, these perceptual filters, these ways that we see the world, that we make our decisions based on. And this is one of them, where people can be totally over responsible and it's costing them in the long run. It's creating their major challenges in their life, and also under responsible, where you're just not taking responsibility for the very things that you should be. And so one of the things that I found right now in my life is that I could tend to kind of fall back into the trap of going to, you know, instead of facing what my fear was in the moment, and not doing this consciously, obviously, but you know, we're all doing this stuff subconsciously and we're not even noticing. But if you have some practices to identify this, then you're going to be rocking it. If you want some masterclasses, is it. That's what we do in those classes, identify all this stuff and give you the pathway to break free and reach a new level of your potential. But anyway, I was finding a new pattern within me, or an old pattern that's kind of resurfaced, which was when that fear was coming up for me, I was kind of like seeking something in the external to kind of distract myself so I didn't have to take responsibility for how that was feeling, right? And I was found myself kind of putting into the lives of the people closest to me. I was kind of going and being like, oh, like entertain me or take my mind off this or distract me, and then finding that I was like getting quite annoyed or frustrated when, you know, that wasn't really working. But I wasn't taking that responsibility and sitting down and going like, this is the challenge. What action can I take? Because as you guys know, inaction, doing nothing, breeds fear and doubt, and taking action breeds confidence and courage. So always remind yourself of that. Stop distracting if you're somebody who's maybe that under responsibility person. And even the over responsibility people can be doing that to distract themselves as well. But the point is, we want to align with who we are, what we want, and having the courage to go after it, you know, and face our fears and break through them, not get into distraction mode and handballing responsibility left, right, and center, so we don't actually have to deal with our own challenges and problems and where it's actually scary. So I'm hoping that me talking into this with you guys is of value, and you may have identified yourself on either side of the coin. Drop me a comment, let me know. I'd love to hear from you guys who have the courage and the honesty to identify which side of the coin do you more so fall onto. For me, it's definitely under responsibility. I like, you know, my kind of freedom and not having to take too much responsibility, but I can definitely see where it's cost me in my past, and cost me, you know, now if I don't make any more changes to that. So it's really valuable stuff. And also I've worked with so many people with this over responsibility tendency that's really limiting them. They're doing everything based on the expectations of other people, or not trusting other people's ability, or, you know, just taking over and needing that control, rather than loosening up the reins and freeing up that energy to direct towards something that actually really inspires you. You know, it's really powerful and really necessary for us to identify which side of the coin we fall more on and create some flexibility. So if you're somebody who's over responsible, gain that self-awareness on where you are currently. Identify what it would look like if you were a little less, you know, controlling in that realm, and you could just loosen the reins and identify whose responsibility is this? How is me continuing to operate this way costing me, costing the other people involved? And how do I want to choose to show up instead? And do that for either side of the coin that you find yourself on. You know, under responsibility. Where am I not taking responsibility in my life that it's costing me my potential? And it's costing the other people that are close to me as well. And what would it look like if I was taking the right amount of responsibility for my life, for my results, for my actions, for everything that I'm doing? And how would my life be better, you know, as a result? And create that action plan. You know, this is part of the work that we did in our masterclasses, like I said 2 sessions ago. If you do join masterclasses, you get all of the previous masterclasses in your library, so that you get to pinpoint what is going to be of highest leverage for you right now in your personal development and go straight to it. and get involved. And I've made it so simple and actionable for you to get results right here, right now. So if that's of interest to you and you want to identify which of the other 60 meta programs there are, these perceptual filters, responsibility, over responsibility, under responsibility, that's just one of them. If you can see that pattern playing out in your life, then that is like, if you just change that one, it's going to revolutionize your life, right? And what if you knew that there were 60 of these, that you could identify your top? We usually have about 5 to 7 of these that are really governing our lives. And if you have major challenges or any challenge, they're attached to these. This is one of the highest leverage personal development tools you can get your hands on. And I've simplified it and given you access to it in the masterclasses for literally $19 a month. Like, it's crazy. And there's already 9 masterclasses there ready and waiting for you to dive into at your leisure. And we've got another one coming up in about 3 weeks' time. So it's just never ending. It's if you're into becoming the best version of yourself you can be, and you want to create a quality life, reach your highest potential in both your life and in love, in your relationships, hands down, you've got to jump on board and join our team. I didn't actually link that because I'm actually giving some free calls away that you can apply to right now. I've freed up some time in my calendar to meet and connect with you guys and help in the best way that I can to identify what are your current unique blocks that are getting in the way of you reaching your potential in life and love, and get my guidance to help you narrow it down and actually get on your pathway to get that stuff out of the way and get into alignment with what actually inspires you, and stop wasting your time and energy with these blocks. So I'll put a link to the masterclasses up above after this video as well, but you can apply for one of these free calls with me. The link is up above there right now. So all right, let me check in with you guys. I can't wait to see who's been able to join. Have you got any questions or comments or words of wisdom or feedback or anything that you want to share? I love engaging with you guys. Or just say hi and let me know where in the world you're tuning in from. But I've got Gregory and Ray and Judy and Helen and Melissa and Jonathan. Hello to you, my friend. And Jared's here. Great to see you. And Jody and Vanessa. Yay. And Justin and Aaron. Great. And Delemba. Can't read whatever language you're speaking there, but I so appreciate you being here. And Jody's here, and Nick, hello to you. And Gary's here as well. And Nick, I was under-responsible when I was a young adult, was a little too reckless, and now I'm over-responsible. I think I have a fear if I live too freely, then I will lose control of my responsibility mentality and not fulfill my role as a mate or a father. Absolutely, Nick. So I'm so on point with you with this one, that we can kind of flip to the other side when we've generated enough pain on one side of the coin. We can kind of go to the opposite extreme rather than finding a healthy balance. So that would be the next stage for you. And I know you're part of the masterclasses, so absolutely would love to hear how you're going with that assignment. And any of you guys who want to go even deeper, you can always join us in group coaching. We've got the most incredible team who are, supporting and challenging each other through all of this learning. And it adds so much value in terms of your perception around learning it, around actually understanding it, seeing different working examples with everybody who's so open and authentic. And I just love you guys. So just know that that's on the table if you ever feel like you want to go deeper and get some personal guidance with myself, and join our amazing team there as well. And one thing that I like to think about, instead of thinking, I'm going to lose what I've gained, right? To know that you can never lose. You can never unlearn what you've already learned. You can never unexperience what you've experienced. So I would say, Nick, that your experience as a young adult being under-responsible and maybe reckless, totally relate, right? You've seen what that can do and cost you, and I know you've got a beautiful daughter, and so you're probably like, I need to be totally responsible for her, but to not fear that you're ever going to slip back into the patterns of you as a young adult. You've come way too far, you've had way too much growth to slip right back. And maybe there's something on that other side that you've disowned, right? That you need to bring a little bit more back into the equation so that you're not so over responsible. So seeing what it's costing you, seeing the benefits of loosening that grip a little bit would be highly, highly valuable to create that flexibility and free yourself. Because when we can see that it's attached to our challenges, it's high leverage to make some shifts and changes and create flexibility so that no matter what the context, you can pick and choose. Like, I need to be a bit more responsible here, I need to loosen the reins here, like whatever it is. And that's emotional intelligence. So I love that, Nick. And yes, I will definitely check my messages when I get the chance. I will absolutely do that. I'll be getting back. I've got so many of your messages, all of you guys. So I will be making sure that I get onto a bunch of them tonight and over the next week. So rest assured, I will get back to you. And thanks so much for letting me know, Nick. I always appreciate that. So guys, that really is my message for you. I really hope it's been valuable. I hope to see you in the masterclasses. I'll put a link up above, and I hope to get to meet and connect with some of you guys who want my personal guidance for these sessions that I'm offering for free, just for a very limited time, just to connect with you guys and reach back out and see where you're at and see how I can support you best. So links up above for that one, and like I said, put the masterclasses up in a moment. And as always, guys, I'm sending you all of my love, light, blessings, gratitude, energy, enthusiasm, everything extraordinary coming to you to wherever you are in the world today. I really do hope that it's beautiful, amazing, and extraordinary, and that you're doing something super empowering, and today's message has absolutely served you. I'm down here in beautiful Warrnambool, got a bit of beach action. Why don't I just show you a little bit? But it's really, really such a beautiful day here today. I haven't been down here since December, so I'm just going to go and soak it up a little bit more, and really hope today's message has served you. Sending you guys all of my love, and I cannot wait to see you tomorrow.